and welcome to this edition of All About Hopkinton, the original HCAM series created to bring you the people and organizations that help make our community the great place that it is. Sitting in for Mary Arnott, I'm Jim Cousins. There are a lot of groups out there and a lot of people dedicating their time, energy, and talents to improve some aspect of life in Hopkinton. I am privileged to be sitting here talking with them and sharing their stories with you. Joining me today is Don Quisnell, Susan Kelly, and Amy Beck of the 50-plus job seekers group at the Hopkinton Senior Center. And ladies, thank you all for being on our show.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Now we are going to talk about the group and what you're doing at the Senior Center. But before we get there, I just want to spend a moment or two and hear a little bit about your background. So maybe starting off with you, Don, like, where you came from and, what you've learned.
Okay. Well, you mean where I grew up, where I came from?
Yep.
I was born and raised in East Longmeadow, Massachusetts. I went to school in Boston. I studied entrepreneurship and graduated from Suffolk University. I became a recruiter, and I placed sales, marketing, and creative professionals. I left recruiting, started my own recruitment firm, and got trained and certified as a professional coach.
Oh, wow. Very
And I've been in private practice for the last 13 years.
Oh, really?
Full-time.
Okay. Full-time private practice.
Yeah, it's important to say that because a lot of times people with coaching in particular, they do part-time or they do something else.
Yep. I see. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
You want me to go through the same story?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I was born in Philadelphia, spent most of my life raised in the Boston area. Also went to school in Boston, have dual degrees in biology and chemistry from Suffolk University. We're giving Suffolk a plug, I guess.
Yeah.
I have a master's from Harvard. Started my own retained search business and ran that with about, dozen employees for about 35 plus years.
Okay.
And over the course of that time worked with many companies and clients on a global basis. And in working with the candidates, obviously provided them with coaching services behind the scenes to help them in their job search. So about 2 years ago, I decided to focus my attention on providing career coaching services on a consulting basis, and then pursuing some other things that I'm really passionate about in the nonprofit world in terms of volunteering. So I sit on a couple of board of directors and do some volunteer services in the court system. So.
Oh, what boards do you sit on?
I sit on the State Ballet of Rhode Island Board of Directors, and I'm very actively involved with a nonprofit called New Hope, which provides services and support to victims of domestic violence.
Okay.
And I'm a certified safe plan advocate in the court system in Bristol County. So
wow.
Yeah.
So, are you a ballet dancer?
I actually started ballet when I was 4, and I danced my whole life. And for the last 2 years, I actually have a professional partner, and I do pro-am ballroom competition on a national basis.
Wow, very
Sort
cool.
of Dancing with the Stars.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right, Amy.
Boy, how can I follow those? I spent most of my life in Dover, but I went to college out in the Midwest, Principia College, and have a religion philosophy degree, very different. But I have been at the Senior Center for the past 4 years. The last 2.5 as the assistant director, but I worked as a volunteer coordinator, and right now as the assistant director, where I'm involved in programming, transportation, and anything else that comes up.
So you say very different, but do you see like the similarity between all three of you? You guys are all in a situation where you are helping others and you're helping people to, achieve the best that they can be. So that's why we're here talking with you, because I find this type of stuff, very, very interesting. So we're talking about the 50-plus
Job seekers
group. Where did that come from?
I think I can answer that question. So I do a lot of career coaching with private clients and with groups, and I've observed, particularly since the recessionary period in 2008. But even before then, a lot of the people that are finding themselves unemployed or underemployed are in the 50-plus demographic. And as I think all of us are, aware, and particularly someone like Dawn who does career coaching for a living, when you are in job search mode, and particularly as an unemployed person, there's an incredible amount of stress that's associated with that, financial challenges, the whole grieving process that people go through, because it's a major life change. It's one of the biggest life changes that people can go through, other than death of a loved one, divorce, loss of a job. And so you have all of that stress, all of that challenge, all of the everything that's inherent in a job search, getting ready for interviews, finding companies to interview with, and all of that. But then when you hit that 50-plus demographic, there's a whole nother layer of challenge that sort of sits on top of the foundation of challenge. And I just found that there really weren't a lot of resources, services, and support for people in that demographic that found themselves suddenly unemployed and really feeling not only pretty lousy about the fact that they were unemployed, but the fact that they were unemployed and suffering from what I would consider to be low self-esteem or self-worth or self-confidence, because they, I hear it over and over again. I'm sure Dawn does too. It's like, I'm 52, I'm 55, I'm 62, I'm 68, I'm 71. Who's going to hire me? And so. And then on top of that, we have this shift here where the millennials, God bless them, the millennials are really in power, so to speak. They've all become the hiring managers. And they have preconceived notions about what 50-plus people can do for them and their company. So I came up with this idea to develop a regional networking group program throughout the state. And hopefully set up different locations where people who are job seekers or people who are retired, maybe voluntarily or not so, people that were underemployed, who were looking for work in this demographic, a place that they could come to and be guided by professional career coaches, and be provided with services and support to help them, and to also help them figure out how to overcome age bias or age discrimination at the same time. And I had the opportunity to meet with the director of new programs and development for a state organization called MCOA, which operates under the Office of Elder Services. It's the Massachusetts offices of all of the councils of aging and senior center directors. And Mary Kay Brown, who is the director of program development, was really interested in developing new programs, changing the face of the COA, reaching out to a broader demographic. And so those two missions came together. My mission to try to do something to provide some kind of form of support and services for people in the 50-plus job seeker category, and for MCOA to be wanting to provide more robust services, reaching a broader demographic of people, and changing the face of the COAs. There's 350 of them in the state. So I was fortunate enough to get funding from MCOA to develop the program, write it, and launch it. And we did that in February with the pilot program. I hired Dawn as one of the group leaders, the one to run the Hopkinton Center, and Amy as the co-facilitator. And these two people have formed this most amazing team. The Hopkinton group is one of several groups that we have, and it's probably the most successful one, I will say.
Oh, thanks.
Due in great part to these two people here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Amy, are all the COAs automatically part of the MCOA, or do you choose to be part of that?
No, my understanding is that they are all part of it automatically. That because our funding comes from the Executive Office of Elder Affairs. So
I see.
We're all
so of
connected.
course, if they're part of the funding,
we're all connected. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So so you hired Dawn, brought her on board. How did you guys connect? How did you guys find each other?
Networking.
Networking.
Okay.
And that is the theme. Networking works, and
Yep.
age is an advantage. And so it was really, Dawn and I found out, we were sort of amazed that we've never,
I know, right?
that, you know, she's been doing this for 13 years. I've been doing it longer than dirt. And it's pretty amazing that, you know, over all these years, that, and we have a lot of people that we know in common in the circle of recruitment and career coaching that we never met each other. But it
Yeah.
was really great that we did meet, and, you know,
So just wondering, is LinkedIn still the network?
Absolutely.
Networking resource?
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now, can we get like a quick overview, like how long is this program, and what do you guys do there?
I guess I could speak to that.
Sure.
Okay.
So the program meets the second and fourth Thursdays of the month. It's 9 to 11.
Okay.
What we cover are resumes, cover letters, your success stories, networking, everything related to the job search, your marketing plan in the job search, your elevator pitch, taking a self-assessment and an inventory. So talking about how to overcome age. We've talked about negotiating. We prepare, you know, we help, and then we've done an actual live demo to prepare them for interviewing. So everything related to the job search, career change, and often we even have a couple people who have come in who are retired, and they're looking to do something and considering maybe starting their own business. So we'll start to incorporate some of those topics as well.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yes, you did. So, so Amy.
Yes.
They were mentioning that Hopkinton was very successful.
Right.
And I know that Hopkinton is a super successful senior center.
That's correct.
You have a
Thank
great
you, yes.
facility and a lot of great people who are working there.
We do. We're very
So
fortunate.
how would you describe the impact of the program at the senior center?
Well, I think for one, it brings more people into the senior center. I think what it has done is there's a lot of seniors who walk around who wonder what's going on in that room and who's coming in. So it has opened it up. I think what you find is a lot of people have a stigma attached to going to a senior center. I'm not old enough. You know, my parents go there, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
You know, and you're hearing that from even 70 and 80-year-olds who are like, no, that's not for me. We are an extremely, like you said, vibrant senior center. We
Yeah.
have, we have the whole thing from exercise classes to, our quilting and knitting groups and, billiards and everything else. But
Free massages.
free, not free.
No, it's not free.
Oh, what is it, $1 a minute?
$1
Dollar a minute.
I love it.
Yeah, so we do offer a wide assortment, but I think what it does, it helps break down the stigma attached to senior centers.
Yeah.
I mean, we are there to support you, we're there to help you, and I think the younger people need to realize that we're not some big scary building.
Right.
We have a lot to offer them. Yes, their parents too often, but even to them as well. And
Yeah.
I want to say on to Dawn's thing, she's talked about people who are, maybe retired and looking to get back into something or change their future with an encore type career. But I think it's also interesting is we have a lot of people who have been stay-at-home mothers for
That's a good point.
18 years or 15 years who are now going back into the workforce.
Yep.
And it has changed from 15 years ago as to how you look for a job and the process. And so we're not just for those high IT people who have been, working forever and they just happen to get cut in, get into a downsizing situation.
Yeah.
We're there for those people who are now trying to break back in too. And I
Okay.
think that's
Good
really
point.
important.
Right.
That's a great point. It
That
really
is a
is.
very good-
Yeah.
And actually, that to that point, the program is open to anybody who's a citizen of the state of Massachusetts and anyone who's 50 and above. Now, we've actually had some people who are not quite 50 who have said, "Can I please come?" It's like, of course.
And I say, it's not like we're carting at the door.
No, exactly, exactly. But it is really interesting because just imagine a stay-at-home mom, which Amy, you were. You lived that dream.
I was one of those people.
Yeah, she
And
lived
I'll
that
stay
dream.
at home dad.
Right.
And I didn't have the
This
support.
kind of support.
And so
Yeah.
this is fabulous.
So it's like when you think about it, so someone like Amy, and there are other people specifically in the Hopkinton group that have fallen into this category, they sat out of the workforce for, let's say, 10 or 15 years, and they're over 50. and they're unemployed, and they're looking for work. So that's like a whole nother layer.
Yep.
And you know, if you have a 10 or 15-year gap in your work history, that's that can be really challenging. Not to mention the fact of rebuilding self-confidence, self-esteem. You know, how do you market what you did as a stay-at-home mom and convert those tools,
Right.
those skills, and that experience into marketable, transferable core competencies that you can promote to a company. So that's just an example of, this is why not only are we just providing a safe and professional and comfortable environment for people to come and network, but they're getting guidance and really robust materials from professional career coaches in all the different aspects and how to overcome all the different challenges.
And it's a huge, huge value.
Yes. Yeah.
But also, I think the other thing that I wanted to say is that we're helping people to get jobs. So whether it's directly through in our first meeting, we invited an employer to introductions. I say, I don't know everybody, but I try to introduce them to other people, or we send, we have a LinkedIn group. So I post jobs in the LinkedIn group. I'm posting also myself from my personal account on social media, etc. And I think also one of the things that people really enjoy about the group is what I call the collective wisdom. So yeah, I'm the facilitator and I'm a certified career coach and voted career coach of the year by my peers, all these great things, but it's really the value and the exchange of the people who are in the room and sharing their experiences as well. Sadly, and we talked about it today, that there was a gentleman who came up to me and he said, I got a call from a recruiter, and the recruiter said, "What year did you graduate high school?" And the candidate responded, and the recruiter hung up on them.
That's awful.
Wow.
And that's not the first time
that's
happened.
An illegal question,
yes.
too, in a way.
Yeah, because it's obvious what they're going for.
Right.
One thing that you mentioned, which, we were talking about this, we had a little planning meeting, a strategy session before we came over here on the new program. And one of the things that I would like to see happen, and it did happen a little bit during the pilot program, was trying to get the businesses that are in the community more involved in our program. And as Dawn said, we actually had a VP of HR come to one of our early programs, and it turned out to be a huge success. Loved the program, sent me all of his job openings, invited one of the attendees for an interview, and she ended up getting a job. So one of the things that I'm looking to do, which maybe this program can help, is reaching out to the Chamber of Commerce and really engaging with them in a more proactive way to get the businesses that are chamber members involved with the program, and maybe even have the chamber host a career fair of using their members, giving their members an opportunity to meet with all of our fantastic 50-plus job seekers.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and any other communities or businesses in the Hopkinton area. So well, that means you.
Yeah, we would welcome any company or small business that is having a difficult time finding employees to come to one of our meetings, and we would give them an opportunity in the venue for presenting a little bit about their company, what they're looking for, and give them some time after the meeting to network with some of the people that are there.
Okay.
I would also urge everyone who is in this situation, whether you are a stay-at-home going back to the workforce or someone who is looking, come check us out, because I think the support that's there, what people find I don't know, I've been amazed to see just people's whole demeanor change when they realize, hey, I have more than I thought. I can do more. Oh, that's a great idea. And I think it's more than just more than just the job. The whole personal aspect of feeling stronger, feeling better. That's a piece of it too. And you do see those changes take place.
Yeah. So, and what is the relationship between like the Senior Center and this particular program? Is it that you offer, you know, 4 walls and a floor that they have a meeting in, or are there other, like, I don't know, additional resources or points of interaction that the Senior Center has with this group?
Well, I'd say we're primarily the meeting place. We were part of the pilot program, which has been great, and lucky enough to continue. And I think, but mostly we're the place, we're the meeting place.
Okay.
And like I said, it breaks down the barriers.
Yes, right. Now, Dawn, so you talked a bit about like what goes on at these meetings. Is there any type of curriculum that you teach, or is like that, like, you know, this is week 1, or is it more like here's a bunch of resources?
There is now. Well, we.
But she sounds thrilled about the revamp. Thanks a lot. It only took me I don't know how many hours to develop it.
No, there is. You know, most career coaches, you know, tackle all the different areas and aspects of job search. So we, like we said, we work on, or going to be working on resumes. Well, we can go through the curriculum.
Yeah, we actually have a lineup, and we're going to be posting that and publicizing that. And one of the things I will mention that the COAs do, and do a really good job of, is in addition to being the host site to provide the space and the administrative support in terms of, you know, any handouts and forms and registration forms and things like that, like Amy helps with the registration. But the COAs know how to promote programs because they do it on a regular basis for all of the programs. So that was one of the things that we were really hoping for, is that the COAs would use their creativity and resources and knowledge and experience in promoting programs through your newsletter, your website, and things like that to promote this program. And that has actually worked out really well. So we have this major, you know, email distribution list. But one of the things that we are going to do this time around is we are going to have a lineup of topics. There's going to be 11 topics, and then it will culminate in our 50-plus career fair. So the concept being is that, you know, people coming will, you know, gather up all the necessary tools and skills that they need. So it's, you know, self-assessment. The first session is really assessing, you know, sort of what you would call, you know, who am I? What do I want to do when I grow up? Or now that I am grown up, what do I really want to do? Stress management, age bias. The second session is going to be on how to develop a really effective resume. The third session is on creating your, what we call STARS, which are your achievement statements, your quantifiable achievements, creating an elevator speech, creating your LinkedIn profile, using LinkedIn as a networking tool, then Networking 101, developing a marketing plan, making sure you have all of the tools in your job search portfolio, interview preparation strategy, and then an actual boot camp on how do you work a career fair.
Okay, so wow, so you got like a lot of really good detailed information.
Yes.
They were really creative.
Yeah.
I was just giving her a hard time.
So you mentioned that the next
always
session,
does.
is that like a distinct starting point? When is that going to happen?
Well, so the Hopkinton group is continuing to meet through the summer, just continuing on from the pilot program. But the new program with this format is starting the first week in October, and Hopkinton meeting on the second and fourth Thursday. So their program will start on October 13th.
Okay.
Right.
And it will be meeting every other week.
Okay.
But we
our
are
next
still meeting.
Oh, okay.
But we are still meeting now.
Yes,
This
we're
is not-
meeting now.
Yeah.
Right, right.
And
Okay.
the next meeting is?
August 28th, right? 25th, August 25th.
Okay.
And we're actually going to be talking about career changes.
Okay. So we're getting to the end of our time, but Susan, you started this and you said there were several locations and Hopkinton was very successful. Why?
Well, I think, first of all, the COA in Hopkinton is modern. It's you know, it's a really pleasant place to walk through the door. I mean, it like as soon as I pulled up, it was like, wow, this is a really nice facility. You know, it's like it automatically alleviated some of my concerns. I think part of it is the structure. I think a huge part of it is the leadership of the group. I'm not just saying that, you know, because I want them to buy me lunch after this program. No, I mean, I really do think, I've met many, many career coaches over the years and many people that co-facilitate. And I've had co-facilitators, and I just think that Dawn and Amy do a great job, and they formed a great team. They work extremely well together.
She does all the work.
And so I think a big part of it is the leadership and getting people excited about themselves again. So I really think that's part of it. Not that the other locations, are also, some of them are also very nice, and
Yep.
the staff is really effective. But I think a lot of it really has to do with the group leadership.
Excellent. All right. Well, I think you guys are doing such a great service in this community, and I really thank you for the work that you do.
Thank
And
you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on the show today and sharing.
My pleasure. Thank you.
for having us.
All right. And thank you for joining us for this show and hearing about the wonderful program, the 50-plus Job Seekers program at the Hopkinton Senior Center. For more information, check out the Senior Center website or give them a call. For more information concerning All About Hopkinton, find us on hcam.tv. If you or someone you know is having an impact on our community, we want to hear about it. Send an email to jim@hcam.tv, and perhaps you'll find them sharing their story right here on All About Hopkinton. Sitting in for Mary Arnott, I'm Jim Cousins, and thanks for watching. This show often talks to people who have interesting hobbies or careers or different things that they have going on that affect our community.
I'm Mary Arnott, your host.
There was a huge need for providing food for individuals and family.
And that's the key. Is
yeah.
working well together.
You can see more episodes online at our website, hcam.tv.